Okay, here is the speed run for the Excel Esports case Doggie Daycare. For more information about the lambdas or how to get started in Excel Esports, please see videos at the link in the description. For this first level, I'm going to use my only numbers lambda, which just pulls out the numbers using regex, and we just pull out the numbers, add them together, and that's all level one's asking for. For level 2, right, we need to know the number of columns after we filter this array. We only care about the, not going all the way out there, going only to AA, right? We only care about the rightmost characters, which are the arrows, right? So we're going to filter that array where it is equal to the given direction, right? And that's going to tell us how many times the dog moves in that direction, which is what level 2 is asking for. Level 3, we're gonna, move around using these arrows, but we're also going to, count how much we move total. So I'm gonna use my string to array lambda just to split these. I want this to be as a row, so they appear in every row. Now for the arrows, right, it says the diagonal arrows count for 2, right, because you're moving 2 different directions. So I'm just make this lookup table and do the sum of the absolute values of the 2 movement components, right? And then I can look up all the arrows here on these arrows, returning the 1s and the 2s. And then if I do a sum product of how much is the arrow worth versus how much steps you're going, that gives you the total number of steps that you took. For this next one, we're gonna make a path and then have it see where you end up, right? I don't need any of this anymore. So I'm just going to let's say you just started somewhere with a lot of room, Z100, and now we're going to move on the map using the arrow move, right? So starting at that reference, going in that direction, that many steps leads to this. So now if I use my distance lambda for the starting point and the ending point where diagonal is not allowed because it says to use the taxi cab non-diagonal distance, that tells you what my net movement was. And this one is actually even easier, right? I just start from this address. I line this up so that I'm getting the arrows properly. And then that's the steps that the dog takes, and the dog ends up in that last one at the end. All right, so for this one is very similar, but I want to look up to see if it's going to have food or not. So I'm going to use B for bath. I'm going to use the number 1 for food. I'm going to use my color fill to just fill in the map here. And now I will actually here back on the map, I'm also going to make a little X to call, which just takes this and flattens it and puts the addresses for me so I can do a lookup instead of having to use the volatile indirect. So X lookup, the address here on the address is locked, returning on the contents of the cells, right? Locked. And if it's missing, then that's nothing. So just give us nothing. So that's there. I've got to make sure that this is grabbing the entire move sequence, copy it down, and that's, I think, all I need, right? Let's see what happens. Yeah, this is just some product, right? Because I used 1 for the cells with the food in it, so just multiply that times this, and that gives me, I'm adding together the turn numbers when the dog eats. Now here, it's the same distance. I just need to do baths, right? So first bath is the only one that counts. Can't have more than 1 bath, and I need to know if it's bath time. And this is, for my next move, right? It doesn't affect the past move, only affects the next one. So if and there's a bath here, and you have not taken a bath before, right? So I'm going to use my exists lambda, checking this array, right? K $21. See if there's anything ahead of it. See if there's a B anywhere. Closed. The and does not get closed there. The and gets closed there. And if so, then yes, that is the first bath. It has to be if this exists equals 0, right? If you've never had a bath before, then that's your first bath. So then it's bath time if bath time lasts 2 turns. So if or this equals 1 or this equals 1, that means it's bath time. Other times it's not bath time. And then I implement that over here on the moves, right? Because what if the last move was bath time, resulted in bath time, then you don't move at all. You just stay where you are. Otherwise, you do the move. All right. And the last one tricky thing here is it says it will not go out of bounds, but that's not actually true. One of these, it actually does go out of bounds. So I have to give it the boundary too. So AY51, B2 to AY51. So B2 to AY51. This just tells the Lambda, do not go beyond that. Go as far as you can, but don't go outside of that boundary. And then here, just again, adding up the turns that the dog eats should give us everything. Let's check everything so far. 790 sounds like a good, nice round score, right? Yeah, everything's right so far. So now we're going to do the last level, which adds the speed boost, right? This also applies to the next move. So I'm going to make a speed multiplier, right? First time is 1. Then the next time is if the speed boost lasts for 3 turns after you eat. So if any of these are 1, then your speed multiplier is 2. Otherwise, it's 1. And then I multiply the number of steps here times the speed multiplier you got from your last move. Already handled the boundary issue here. This is going to go all the way out to DC. Right? This has got to get copied down to the bottom. And these go like this. And this sum product has to go pretty far down. It's okay if it goes farther, so I'll just put, I don't know, 941. That should be plenty. And hopefully this should be level 8. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good score for level 8. Hopefully we have 1,000 points. Oh no, we do not have 1,000 points. We have 990 points. That is an interesting number of points. I don't see any red X's. Nope, yeah, there it is. That's the one with the boundary. I thought we fixed that. Nope, did not fix it. All right, so the arrow move A2 to AY 51. That's the boundary. So once I must have put the boundary on level 7, but you actually need it on, you don't need it on level 7. You do need it on level 6, even though it says you don't. But only for that one problem. The other ones you don't. All right, so how much feeding and bathing is there? Well, I already used 1 for my feeding, so I can just sum to get the feeding and then count if this is B for the bathing areas, and it's 142. One direction appears more often than the others, so this is what? Control Shift in to get the whole thing. I'm gonna do what's called frequency table. And now I'm going to sort these. Gonna stop. Can stop with the hiding, please. And it said to only count, don't count these, so it's only count these. So we're going to take, the rightmost arrow of this, the rightmost character, which is the arrows. I'm going to find the unique arrows here, and this is now just a sum if, right? So sum if in this range locked is equal to this, and then the sum range is this locked, right? So take these and then find the maximum of them, and it's 559. All right, and that was bonus 2, keeping this labeled here. All right, so what are the row and column numbers for levels 5 to 8? Right, so those are, I'm going to put those in a, bonus 3 tab. That's just here, right? Levels 5 through 8. So I put that here and I do ref to RC, right? RC being row and column. I want it to be in a row since that's how this data is organized. Sum this up and I see in the thing, it's in the bar, it's 4170, 4170. All right, next we're going to follow level 5 rules, but with the arrows from those games. So I'm going to make a new tab for bonus 4. We are going to start at said cell AAA 1000. And we're going to take the arrows from what? X to call game 121, it said, which starts here is game 121. It goes all the way to the end, game 160. Do not want the addresses. So that's this, and I should be able to copy this down. I can't use the thing because it's as one of them is an array. So I can do this. And we end up in AHD 909. All right, so level 8, how often are the dogs on the same cells? So I'm going to do, well, hold on. This is up here. I'm going to make a bonus 5 tab. Now here, I'm going to use text join on a hyphen. And I'm going to join all this stuff here. And skip that middle argument there that we don't usually use. And let's see, did it get the whole thing? Yeah, it did. All right, so now we take this and let's call this B5B, right? Yeah, so I paste values this thing in here. And I will, why don't I use text to column since it's right here on hyphen. So now for each movement, I need to know the number of rows minus the number of rows of the unique version of it, right? So if there's any repeat rows, they'll get subtracted. And this will tell me how many are left. So the number of rows of this, right, minus that is there, right? So those are all unique, so it's 0. But let's see if any of these are repeats. And there are, right? The sum here I see in the bottom is 16. So there's 16 cases like here, right, where there's a repeat. So I put in 16 and I stopped the clock at 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Thank you for watching. See you next time.